Sounds like I hear it. So what's happening is a massive protest of truckers and loggers and log truck drivers and dump truck drivers are ascending on the Capitol. And the last time while I was getting parked, I might have missed it, but I'm sure they're going to drive by more than once. There was hundreds of them. I couldn't even get downtown because of all of the log trucks and all of the dump trucks. And I saw on the news that they're staging up at the fairgrounds. What's up, Ethan? Yeah, it's a little bit, well, it's just a huge protest. This is the counter protest by the people that'll be affected by this 20, and where am I at? Okay, I gotta go, oh, here they come. Look, so, can you see down there? Coming back this way, I'm gonna hang out right here. There's log trucks, hundreds of them. You can't even get downtown, in downtown Salem in the Capitol. There's helicopters overhead. I saw them staging up at the fairgrounds. There were literally hundreds and hundreds of trucks. This is by far the biggest protest I've ever seen here at the Capitol since I've been living here. And I'm not sure when it's supposed to wind up. I saw it on the news. I just threw on my raincoat and my hat and went down here. So here they come. Here comes this line of truck drivers that are they're protesting against this bill that's such a center of controversy here in Oregon, the Senate Bill 2020. And oh, they're turning by the Capitol. I'm gonna have to get down there by the Capitol. That truck turned right into the Capitol. I'm gonna see if I can get us a little closer. Hang on. I didn't bring my selfie stick thing that I made. It's just I had to get on here, like, immediately. What's up, Rick? You better huddle down, man. Don't come downtown. There's a ton of trucks. Let's see if we can get out here and get some images. Well, I guess I could ride the bus. So just to update you guys, if you just got here, I jumped up and grabbed my raincoat to cover this protest that's happening by all of the truckers and loggers and truck drivers and log truck drivers from all over Oregon that are joining up here as a counter protest. They've dominated downtown Salem. People can't get to work. They're backed up. They staged up at the fairgrounds, and it looked like they were having state fair. There were so many people there, hundreds and hundreds of people. This is the YMCA where I used to hang out when I was a little kid. Just a little sage side note there. I used to spend hours in that place. Okay, so trying to get closer. They're wrapping the Capitol. So this is the corner up here. I parked in the wrong spot. That's why there was nobody else parked there. But hey, I'm good till 11:30. I paid in advance. Right, here we go. Now you're starting to see some images of these trucks. They're backed up. They're just dominating all downtown. Yeah, it's convoy. Hey, you rubber duck. There's Smokey is. They've got a bear in the air. Alright, so I'm gonna have to pull up my pants here because I didn't bring my suspenders. Woohoo! So I'm gonna try to get on a more better corner here, but for right now you can see where they're at. They pretty much got downtown shut down. And what you're seeing here are log trucks. If you've never seen a log truck before, the thing on the back of their truck is the rest of their truck. So when they were gonna pick up a load of logs, they'd drop that down and drag it behind, and the logs would basically make up the rest of the trailer. So for my international audience and people from around the country, that's what a log truck looks like when it's ready to be going a long run. So if they're going to go on long, well, when they're empty, they got to roll up like that. It's just safer. Now we've even got some big farm tractors. I'm going to walk down a little further and get some better view for you. This is the Oregon World War II Memorial Park over here, which is where we have a lot of our Second Amendment rallies. So I hope you can see that this line of trucks goes on for a really long time. And back in here a little further is some big combines, some Chugging along in my tractor. What's up? Hey, wave to the international audience. Yeah. All right, sound off. Where's everybody from? We got 67 in the room. What state are you from? What country are you from? Where are you coming at me from? California, Texas, Alaska, welcome. Florida, welcome. Arkansas, welcome. Missouri, welcome. Welcome, Dallas. Welcome, Georgia, Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Florida, North Carolina, South Africa. There's our international audience. Southern Louisiana, Florida. Awesome. So we got a lot of people from around the country and around the flat earth. I'm just going to start becoming a flat earther so I don't have to fight with the flat earthers. Every time I say around the globe. So the smell of diesel right now is super strong. So this New Holland tractor here, if you can't read it, it says, "Thank you, Republican senators," written on the side of it. It's sporting the stars and stripes. I told you, the working class people are not in favor of this climate change malarkey. They're not ready to pay 20 cents a gallon in gas tax. Oregon truckers are not going to do it. Look at the size of this beast. You know how much more money that means to run a machine like that, to have a 20-cent increase in fuel? You know what? It's basically your profit. Look at the size of this thing. It's huge. It makes the diesel truck look little. Look at that. Man, what a machine. Wow. So this makes the little kumbaya left-wing protest that they had here the other day look like nothing. Yeah, this is like the Yellow Vest movement, y'all. Wake up, world, and see that the Oregon truckers are not going to put up with this tyranny. The farmers of Eastern Oregon are not going to put up with it. You know what? If you get ugly with this, they're going to roll over this mountain and roll right over every one of you. They're not going to be bullied. We're not going to be talked down to. You're not going to hunt our senators like they're game. We're just not going to put up with it. This is what you're up against, Antifa. They can drive right over you and just keep on trucking. Yeah. Wave high to Sage Wonders, 30,000. Global. So if you're not up to what's going on, this is probably the biggest protest I've ever seen. It's definitely the biggest protest that's seen this state. You know, you can't hashtag hunt Republicans around here and not expect someone to say something about it. You know, they're not going to be bullied, and they're letting you know this is a solidarity. If these guys decide not to go to work, none of y'all eat. Wow, I didn't think there'd be other cars coming. I almost got run over. Woo! I need a yellow vest. Sorry, I'm a little bit pumped up. Let's keep on trucking. No pun intended. Hey, wave to my international audience. 30,000 people, say hi. We're behind you. We're behind you. I think the loggers and the truckers are just flat sick of it. This is pretty epic. This is a ring of fire of trucks, man. So spread the word on this live stream, get people to pick it up. I don't know how many people are covering this. I don't even see any local news, much less national news. What's that? Down there? Yeah. So he's saying there's a huge amount of people down here, further down, and I see some tents. So we're gonna go check that out and see what's up. You'd laugh if you could see me. I'm holding my pants up with one hand because I forgot to put on my suspenders. Yes, I can see you, Sherry. Because it's so rare to see anyone on here from my hometown. True. One thing I love about y'all is y'all have your private conversations that just go on, because like a lot of times I'm paying attention to the scene. And man, listen to it. So here in front of the Capitol, there's the rest of the protest. It isn't just the trucks. There's people on foot. Yeah, here's some, looks like some press coming to check it out. There's K2. What's up?
Channel 12.
Channel 12.
We're 6 times as good as 2.
Oh, excellent. 6 times as good. Hey, I know that guy from the Second Amendment rally. I saw him out there before. So, not sure how I missed the memo on this, but thankfully I'm camped so close, I was able to throw on my raincoat and zoot on down here, even if I didn't have time to find my suspenders. I think my suspenders are in Texas. The suspender suspense. Oh, this is way bigger than anything they had. It's huge.
Just a couple of comments about 2 people in particular I think we should all be aware of.
I'm about to give you a sweep here. That's one thing I don't like about not having my stick, is that I was able to get it up high above the heads of people. But I'll try. I'm tall enough. I'll stand on something.
So, the Representative Paul Evans, who represents this area around Salem, who branded all of us terrorists for going up and speaking our minds today. You know, we're not terrorists. We love Oregon, and it's just shameful that you would brand people that are trying to stick up for their livelihoods in such a way. So remember Representative Evans next year if you live in this community. The other is Senator Manning from the
there's people out here that are having these green banners, and therefore this Jefferson state I was talking about on my channel, this separation, a peaceful separation instead of civil war.
Like cap and trade, well, you know, just get on out of Oregon. There are going to be people that fill in behind you. And you know what, Senator, we love Oregon. We've been here for generations. We want to continue to prosper here. Why are you intent on passing legislation that is forcing us out of business, that is forcing us to leave the state? Come out here and explain to us your policies to this group here and why it is good for them. So I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, and please try and maintain the energy. The folks in this building need to hear from you loud and clear, and this is a battle that's going to go on, I think, for years in the future. So thank you for making your voices heard.
We're fighting it as House Republicans.
All right, we're back. Sorry, battery change.
Asked that this bill be amended greatly. The Democrats, 13-8 in Ways and Means, said no. It became obvious that they were not serious about real change on this. As a result, our senators took a look at that, and you know what they did. So again, fight for that lifestyle, fight for the family, fight for your jobs.
Much bigger
Bills like
protest than the one we had out here with the left.
Crosshairs. You've learned how to resist. I trust you'll continue with that as we go forward. Thank you very much. I want to hand it off to one of my colleagues, David Brock Smith, Port Orford, Republican House member. He knows all about 2020. He was vice chair of the Carbon Committee. David Brock Smith, please.
Well, I have to tell you, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen at the Oregon State Capitol. I can't thank you so much for being here today. Give yourself a round of applause.
Definitely the biggest protest I've ever seen, and I'm a native. This is huge.
You know, I pulled into the Capitol garage this morning, and I took a picture because it was quite empty, because when rural Oregon comes to the state capitol, the Democrats decided to take a day off today. And
Yeah, I guess they got scared and stayed
because
home.
as we are here in the building, and so many advocates come down from Portland to advocate for various issues, yet when rural Oregon and southern Oregon and our rural Oregonians come to advocate for their livelihood, the Democrats decide not to show up for work. And yet the hypocrisy of the
They're afraid to
senators
face
that
us.
are out of this state to save rural Oregon and the industries that built our communities and are meant to sustain them are getting hammered by the left media.
There's a Where We
and
Go One,
the
We Go All
advocates
banner over there
for
too.
House Bill 2020 is just astounding. And so I can't thank those senators enough for utilizing the tools that they have in the toolbox for our rural Oregonian families and the communities that they represent. And they are doing they've been doing their jobs ever since they came into this building in the beginning of the session. We all have. And I can't thank you enough for the advocacy that you have shown today. If you look on top of this building, there's a gold man, and he's carrying an axe. Rural Oregon built this state. Rural Oregon continues to
Yeah, the
supply
timber
the
industry
needed
built this state.
materials
They seem to
for
forget
the
that when
urban
they go to
areas
tax
to
people
survive
20%.
and grow. And they need to
That
be
it was
reminded
timber that
from
built
time
this
to time. And like I said today,
Agriculture
this is
built
the
this
stunning thing
state.
I've ever seen,
Timber.
and you're reminding them right now. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, well, we got 87
I'm so
in the
sorry.
room, at least a couple
And
thousand of you
I am,
before it's over.
it's a pleasure for me to introduce my colleague on the Joint Committee on Carbon Reduction, a trucker herself, and one of the largest advocates for all of you out
Even
there.
though this is a cool protest,
Representative
I'm more
Shelley
interested in
Bossard-Davis.
all of these trucks. To have the entire Capitol ringed with trucks. You can't hardly get down here. I'm shocked I was able to get down here. Because this whole Capitol is ringed with trucks. Welcome, Facebook audience. I don't have a Facebook channel, but if you're mirroring this, thank you for that. It's going to expand our
people have
coverage.
been saying for a couple days, hey, there's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be a lot of people. And about 4:30 a.m. I started getting texts like,
We may be outnumbered here, but we're more determined than they are. We'll come out in the rain and stand in the rain to fight for our rights here. You know, they're fair weather people. Their protest was tiny. This is enormous.
Me pictures and videos, and I'm like, I'll take it.
Who wants to talk and tell us
I'll take
about
it.
the
Have to
Jefferson
say love.
movement?
And I think about it, and somebody said to me, I don't know.
He's doing it. Of course, Eric, he's the father.
Awesome. Hey, you guys want to talk to my subscriibers?
I guess we're
Right now, we've got
talking
about 82 people in the room.
Sure.
But a couple thousand to see this, and I hear it's being mirrored on Facebook, and I'm all over Facebook.
Today is what I brought.
Hey, I know I'm accomplishing something. I have a troll in the room. So,
Growing up in a truck
hey,
stop,
troll, if you're trolling, no, I'm going to get you. I got the last one. I'll turn you in. That's what I do, so keep it clean. I'm here with people that are advocating the Jefferson state. Now, we've been talking on my channel the last few days about peaceful separation versus civil war. And, you know, how that maybe part of Oregon and part of Washington and part of California ought to be its own state. So I think that's what this is. And we can probably walk over and look at the board here and show you where they're dividing it up into some degree. But yeah, tell me, this is Bob Shark. I'm Sage Wanderer, and you're looking at my YouTube channel. Hang on, I've got a bunch of water on the camera. Whoa.
The chairman of the Oregon State of Jefferson.
Hang on, I'm trying to get the water off the screen. Lost the channel. All right, we're back. So sorry about the blurriness, guys. This screen is all wet. It's a slow Oregon drizzle here, but we got audio for sure. So once again, Bob Chard, tell us about this movement. And you know, we have audio, I think. Is the audio good?
I'm losing my voice today. Right
Oh,
now.
no kidding.
So I'm going to defer to the man on my left,
Okay.
who is the father of the State of Jefferson movement, the modern State of Jefferson movement. Mark Baird, he came all the way up from Mark.
Okay.
He came all the way up from California just to be here today.
All right, so I went with Bob because Bob had a name tag. So this is Mark. Let me get you in the screen here. Hey, our screen's clearing up a little bit. So tell us about this movement. Where's the boundaries?
This is an Article 4, Section 3 state split from the United States Constitution. It's nothing new. It's been done 4 times in the history of our nation. Maine separated from Massachusetts, Vermont from New York, West Virginia from Virginia, and Tennessee from Virginia. What we propose to do is take sections of Oregon and sections of Northern California and combine those two under Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution to form the 51st state, Jefferson. We propose a part-time legislature where each county us equal representation in the Senate, and where the Assembly is apportioned by numbers and population.
So hang on, is everybody hearing Mark? Are we getting it? If y'all can hear Mark, let me know. How's my audio? I know we got some water on the lens. They're not interactive. Hello, can you hear me? Do I have audio? Yes, so we're good. Okay. Walk us over and show us what this looks like. I see you have a map over here.
Okay.
We're gonna walk over and look at the map. Stand up next to the map there and I get both of you in the screen
Green
here.
areas on the map are the California counties that have already declared to the state legislature that they want to separate from the state of California to form Jefferson. And then the yellow counties on the map are counties that have active committees.
So I went to high school here
for
in
the state
Jackson
of
County at
Jefferson.
Medford.
Yes, Jackson County has a very active committee.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter who's first, but if we get the consent of the legislature or through judicial action, and California has a lawsuit against, Jefferson has a lawsuit against the state of California for lack of representation, and if we win, it will yank the rug out from under politics as usual all over the nation.
How do you think a conservative, another red state like this might affect the national dialogue when it comes to things like guns and immigration?
Here's the deal. We want liberty. Liberty begins at home. If you have liberty, what you do with it is your business. All we want now is we want liberty for our people. And if other states like what we've done, we'd be happy to teach them how to do it themselves. We don't care about national politics. They don't affect us right now because we're not even free where we live. So what we want to do is start at home, create a state that has true liberty, and then we'll teach other states how to do it. And if we get enough states, then we can turn to the national government and demand constitutional behavior.
So what I find really interesting about this concept is that we fought the first Revolutionary War over taxation without representation. And I think the people of Eastern Oregon, many of the people of Eastern Washington and Northern California have felt for a long time like their vote doesn't count. Like 3 counties run the whole state.
Your vote doesn't count.
Yeah, your vote doesn't count. You don't have any representation. And so what's more American than fighting to have representation for those that are not being represented properly?
It was 2 cases in the United States Supreme Court, Westbury versus Sanders and Reynolds versus Sims, that put us in the position we're in right now, where the Supreme Court told the states that created the federal government that they were not entitled to a federal system of government where each county has a senator. And then the assembly is governed by population. That's what we're fighting. We're fighting to restore liberty because Thomas Paine said that as the colonies grow, representation must grow so that all parts of the colony is equally represented, and so that their representatives never form a separate agenda from those who elect them. We've forgotten what the Founding Fathers said, and we're here to bring that concept back to life.
So what do you think the likelihood is of the federal government allowing this kind of division of a state? I don't believe it's been done since the Civil War that gave us West Virginia and North and South Carolina.
No, North and South Carolina were Revolutionary War.
Oh, gotcha. See, I don't know everything.
Virginia. We are prepared right now to declare the state of California in sedition for harboring and shielding illegal aliens and demand a state split just like West Virginia did from Virginia.
Well, I think the left just thinks because there's more of them that our voice doesn't count. And because they think we live in a democracy, and one of the great men said that a democracy, describing a democracy, he says it's like 2 wolves sitting down with the lamb deciding what's for dinner. And that's kind of what we have going on here. We have
Republic is 2 wolves sitting down with a well-armed lamb deciding what's for dinner.
That's awesome. I have a song I wrote called "Hunting Ain't No Fun When the Rabbit's Got a Gun," and it's about being armed and not being prey to whoever.
John Adams said, "Liberty must be protected at all hazards. You have a right to it derived from your maker. And even if that were not true, it was purchased for you by your fathers with their blood, their treasure, and their estates, their ease, and their honor."
Well, let me ask you your opinion, and I know don't answer as a representative of this movement. Answer as an individual. Do you think that this may be our last chance to avoid some kind of insurrection and uprising in the West? That this movement, if it's not allowed, if it's blocked in some way, is this our last great hope at making this work without there being some kind of conflict?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I know that as Christian human beings and citizens of this nation, we have a responsibility to exhaust.
He sounds like me.
All legal, moral, and ethical
I just
means
said this the other day.
to achieve our goal.
That's
If
right.
If all legal, moral, ethical means fail, then we can resort to self-help, but I don't think we're anywhere near that.
Well, I see myself like Mel Gibson's Patriot. In the opening scenes of that movie, he was one of the most outspoken people against violent reaction. That he was saying, hold your powder, keep your cool, wait and listen. But when it started, he was all in, and that's kind of me. I ain't gonna be the one to start it, but.
People of this state and this nation have all the power. We've always had it. All we have to do is relearn how to use it.
Well, I'm a Christian, and I often say that the only reason the world's in the shape that it's in is because we've all forgotten who we are. We don't know who we are. When you know who you are, evil's powerless against people who know who they are.
Amen.
So awesome. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there a website that they can go access to show support?
SOJ51.org.
Let's look at this right here, see if I can get this on the screen. This is weird being a camera guy like this because I can't tell. There it is. There it is. There it is.
Tell them yours too.
Okay, so screenshot that, y'all.
Shot his mouth off.
Joe, take a picture of that sign. It's pretty telling too. This sign.
Representative Evans called us
That's the
terrorists.
situation you're in right now.
Hey, he's showing us something here. Check this out, y'all, before I get back into the stream.
Hold on.
So this says 76% of Oregon legislators' representation lies within the northwest portion of the state. So 14 counties rule over 22 counties, right? Something like that. Yeah, it's not fair. And it's really not a republic when you do it like this. This is more like democracy. And America's not a democrat. It's a democratic republic, not a democracy. So in a democratic republic, then you've got to have you definitely have to have representation for people, even if they don't live in the dense populated area. And this is how it was originally set up, and we've drifted away from it. States had rights originally, and originally there were, for one thing, everybody gets 2 senators, so that's kind of helped balance things on the national scene. But I'm going to step over here for a minute and address the live stream.
Is that really right for him to tell us? Because that just told us that he was going to
Okay, I'm going to settle this on a live stream once and for all. I am not pro-abortion. I think abortion is evil. I think it's sick. I think it's murder. Now, having said that, until the baby can survive without its mother, he's basically, it's up to her anyway. I mean, if a woman really wants to abort a baby, she can just stop eating. She can just hurt herself. And that's what people do. Now, having said that, once that baby can live outside without its mother, then that's a human being. So I'm against late-term abortion. I'm against all abortion. But I have to say that you can't legislate morality. You really can't make rules, especially on such a fine line like that affect people, and still respect the Constitution. So if you want to unsubscribe, that's fine, but I'm a constitutionalist, but I am not pro-abortion. I am just not pro-government interference. And as soon as we can interfere and make a difference, like when the baby's actually viable, I mean, hey, I'm for protecting the life of a child. And this idea that a fetus is a parasite, this kind of ridiculous stuff, this partial birth abortion, this late-term abortion, this post-birth abortion, I'm ready to go to war over it. So you anti-freedom radicals, stop calling me pro-abortion, because I am not. There, rant over. Okay. Yes, we all have free will. Why on earth should we try to do something God himself won't do? God won't restrict them from making their choice. God gives them the free choice. So we're people of free choice. But at the same time, we have to defend a life. And the only argument really is, where does life begin? I mean, if you want to take this, if you guys want to be real radicals, look, I come from I come from a religious right background. I'm still an ordained priest. You understand that, right? And so I'm telling you, Lord help me. All right, I'm just going to go back to the live stream.
I'm a third-generation Oregonian from Douglas County.
You know, as soon as the baby is able to be protected, I'm for protecting the baby. But honestly, when it's still up in there, you can't take care of it. It can't survive without its mother. You can't take it away from her. So really, you're fighting a losing battle. It's like the war on drugs. I'm not in favor of being high on methamphetamine. I'm not in favor of doing heroin. But at the same time, I don't think you can stop them if people were going to do what they want to do. You know, as a minister, I can tell you, they're going to do what they want to do. And you cannot tell them what to do and be effective at it. So it's like a moot point. It's like a fight you can't win. So, new topic, stop attacking me on abortion, because we're here to talk about states' rights, and we're here to talk about what's happening in Oregon. So, you know, I'm going to go back and find you people that are being ugly and hateful, and I'm going to report you, just so that you know. I'm going to block you. So keep it up.
Renewable resource.
There, that's as good as I can be and still be
wealthy again.
And not have a moderator. I'm self-moderating.
However, Senate Bill 2020 guarantees that will never happen.
I agree. I don't think you should spend any money, any state money on any of this foolishness. Seriously. You know, if women want to do that to themselves and to their babies, I ain't paying for it. So I'm for shutting down Planned Parenthood funding and all of that. I'm on your side, guys. Just I draw the line at a different spot than you do. So, what do you think about what's going on down here? It's still going on. They're still rallying. They're still talking. And what really I think is awesome is these trucks. Check this out. It's like a truck show.
Senate Bill 2020 does nothing to help us.
Oh, check this out. This guy's giving them donuts. Hey, are you trying to give them donuts?
Yeah.
You trying to give all the truckers donuts?
Yeah.
So you support their protest?
Yes.
Yes, yeah? You're not trying to poison them, right?
No.
Okay. Well, hey, if people get sick, we know who to blame. Wait, he's going to give some more donuts. He's only got one left. All right, put my glasses back on. What's people talking about? Oh, you're talking about the Electoral College. Yeah, that is their next move. Here's how the left wants to take over our country, okay? First thing they want to do is,
street drugs.
hang on, let me get over here.
Law-abiding citizens criminals if they fail to conduct background checks on someone.
So this is kind of loud. I'm going to get a back row seat back here so we can talk. Check out the trucks and the tractors.
In many cases, our state agencies are failing us. Failure of management of these state agencies.
So I think many people that don't know Oregon thought that when I said the Civil War was going to start in Oregon, they thought I was crazy. Because you know, most of you people don't know anything about Oregon. It's the forgotten state. Hey, Randy, you're from Mill City? You get a lot of snow up there. So, you know, the fact of the matter is that I hope this demonstrates to the world that there are two sides of Oregon. Portlandia is not all there is to Oregon. On the other side of the mountains, there's a whole lot of determined people. In the mountains, along the coast, any place but the cities, you're going to run into people who are more like Texans than they are like
that the industry was on its way.
The typical Portlandian.
Over the years, I've watched mills and logging companies shut down one by one, often displacing hundreds of employees from the community, causing families to move and other businesses to have to leave. My county is now nearly broke, all because of the listing of endangered species that aren't really endangered.
Sorry, my phone's trying to die on us.
Because of
Let me double check this.
environmental
Hey, if I
lawsuits,
lose the stream, I still have one more battery. I got one more battery left.
State and federal policies.
So I'm going to take a minute and talk to you guys. Talk to me. Where's everybody from? I saw some Oregonians shouting out.
It's time to take it back and go to work.
So David Smock seems to be at the center of some controversy here. Oh, David, you're such a lame human being. I know who you are. You're my troll. You're George Soros' little buddy who gets paid to mess with me, and you're so bad at it because all I ever do is delete you. You know, unless I'm getting my people crossed up. Arlington, Texas, North Dakota, Pennsylvania. What's up, Pittsburgh? What's up, Eureka, California? What's up, Arkansas? What's up, Dallas, Texas? I'm headed back your way soon. Ohio, what's up? Eugene. Man, keep your head down in Eugene, Scott. Massachusetts, T-Money. I know you're from Michigan. Is this anti-Trump? No, this is pro-Trump. This is all pro-Trump. This is all pro-states' rights. This is all pro-senators. It's huge. Waco, Texas. Baltimore, Maryland. Austin, what's up? Keep your head down in Austin. Antifa in Austin is getting out of hand. Monmouth, hey, what's up? Beaumont. Loving Beaumont. Been to there a few times. Stacy's mom was originally from Beaumont. Just left California 10 days ago to South Dakota. Woo, it's a freezing up there, man, let me tell you. Virginia and pro-Trump. What's up, Debbie? Okay, so once again, this is a huge Sherwood. Hey, got a lot of Oregonians here watching what's up. This is a really huge pro-Oregon senator, right, conservative, working man protest here at the state capitol in Salem, Oregon. We've been covering this for a bit of time here. And Blazing Blazer's always trying to get his knife wet. Buddy, if it keeps going like it is, you may get your chance. You may just have to come out of Alaska to make it happen. I don't know. Alaska may just sit this out. You know, it's a long drive through Canada to get here. You need a boat, Blazing, and then you can get down here quicker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is going to be Mike Peel, a logger from Vernonia that I'm sure you've heard a lot about in Earth today.
So I think what David does is he comes on and he subscribes, and then he makes a big fit, and then he unsubscribes, and he's trying to affect my morale on some level. I don't pay attention to the subscribers numbers anymore because they just
Thank you for being here.
I get so many of them are getting deleted by Facebook. I mean, not by Facebook, but by you know, YT. YT is my biggest enemy. And my lifeline is, it's not too funny.
And basically what we already have, we have carbon eating machines out there already. Douglas fir trees eating carbon for free.
I really dig the tractors on display here.
Free. And they're being logged. They're being managed. And basically we just closed the forest off to us. And they're worried about carbon. It'll be a repeat of the federal forest. They'll be shut down. I give it 4 or 5 to put the fires out, and they really don't want to put the fires out anyhow. And then they talk about, like the federal forest, well, it's going to cost us this much per acre to make it fire safe and thin. So
I kind of hope that Antifa is watching, because a lot of times they think they're really tough, but this is a testosterone-heavy environment, let me tell you. These guys are people that got hair on their chest, you know? And I think that any 3 of them could probably take on a whole crew of Antifa and make them wish they hadn't started it.
Is there an issue going on with climate change? Does it need to be addressed?
I think this is really awesome because few people know the other side of Oregon. They see Portlandia, they see Antifa on YouTube cutting up, and they don't know that people here, that there's like conservative people in Oregon. There's, God-fearing Christian folks. Like I said, they're more like Texans, a lot of them, than they are like average Portlandian.
Into Kate Brown's office.
Oh, check out this old truck.
Half-hour-long sit-down meeting behind her closed doors. You never want to get anybody on the defensive, so I just started talking. Like probably everybody else did here.
See that thing? It's kind of cool.
I started picking strawberries at 6 years old, when you can still do that legally. Started hauling hay, worked at dairy farms. When I was 15, I paid cash for my own tractor. By the time I graduated from high school, I had all my implements. I had my own combine. I was president of Future Farmers of America.
You know, and that's the same story of almost everybody here.
I don't know if you got to see the sign there. The sign says this truck hauls heavy 2 times a year. 1 day of pumpkins and 1 day of fertilizer. And they don't plan on buying a new truck.
And all I can say is I still
That's awesome. That
have
truck's
hope
been working for,
for rural
wow,
Oregon.
since
I'm
any of
very
us,
happy to be
before
here.
any of us were
Thank
born.
you.
So I'm gonna find out how I can get David Schmock. Is he back in the room?
Thank you so much, Mike.
This guy's
Our last
mentally
speaker
ill. It
today
wouldn't surprise me if he's
is
locked in some
Tiffany
institution
Harper.
somewhere,
She's
cheating
a
from behind closed doors.
fifth-generation timber owner and hazelnut farmer from Junction City. She's also the Lane County Farm Bureau president. Welcome, Tiffany.
Yes, he's definitely an angry incel. I mean, look at him. Would you date him? I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know anybody that would. I don't know anybody that would have anything to do with him, really. He's just a mean person.
Monroe, and I'd like to thank our previous
Yeah, no,
speakers
Antifa would not
for
show up
talking
here.
about
I
the negative
promise you.
implications of this
They
bill
are not
and
that
for
stupid. They're pretty dumb.
But I'm going
But
to conclude with just how important
The only
you
thing
are
meaner than a
and how
West
important
Texas
you are to
cowboy is an
society.
Oregon logger. They'll take your top of your head off and never think twice about it and just go have supper. You know, I grew up with these folks. I grew up with my dad minister into most of Eastern Oregon at one time or another. So,
Or perhaps
yeah, Antifa is definitely not here.
there's undeniable
What's up, Sherry?
and noble
I'm trying to look at you. Where's the hole?
protect and preserve beautiful landscapes and promote economic viability for our community.
Guns are nothing but decorations unless you're willing to use them. Well, you're right. When I purchased my first gun, I decided if anybody threatened my life and I felt genuinely afraid for my life, that I was willing to terminate another human being's life. And I was about 20 when I purchased my first shotgun. So, well, I'd been having a pistol since before I was young enough or old enough to have one, but no one knows about that one. It's all fine now. I'm all legal now. Make Sherry a moderator. I've got to figure out more about live streaming. I'm not very good at it, as you can tell. I lose the stream all the time. But we do need a monitor. Yes, the leftists want our guns because they know that's the only way they stand a chance. But even then, we'll just, if they have guns, we'll just hit them in the head and take theirs. You know? Yeah, y'all just ignore the troll. I'll figure out how to get rid of trolls in the future. Yeah, real Americans are standing up here, most definitely. This is what it looks like.
Of a well-deserved representation in our state.
What's up, Pegboard? Good to see you.
Humble and hard.
Yeah, we have a trillion
Telling our
bullets.
story does not come naturally. But now
I got
more
my
than
share
ever,
of 'em.
we must magnify our
Spread across
voices
2 states.
and support each other and sing our praises as we share our contributions to this natural
You
world.
could spit beach nut in their eye
My family
and
farm was
shoot them with your old
established in
45
Lane County
because a country boy can't survive.
in 93. And with each new generation, those before have passed down
Mill City loves me? Really? Awesome.
values of stewardship
I used
and
to have
love
a
of the
friend
land
in
that I
Mill City.
too will pass down to my child. With the advancement of knowledge and land management techniques, we continue to evolve and adjust our management practices to sustain small family business, provide jobs in our community, and decrease our ecological footprint on the planet. We happily comply with hundreds of state and federal regulations, which you all know very well.
So I tried to guess the number last time the leftist protest was about 300 people. And gosh, there's at least 300 trucks here. there's thousands of people here. I have no idea what the estimated number of people are.
Our chemists,
I'd say there's
mechanics,
probably less than
meteorologists,
10,000, but
and
more than
scientists.
1,000. How's that?
And we all rely on sound research from industry and land grant institutions like Oregon State University.
Now we're singing. Now we're singing.
ensure
The country boy can't
that Oregon
survive.
remains sustainable and economically viable. My grandfather said, "Our legacy and way of life is not done for ourselves. We must manage the land and the planet for the future, even though we will never see the
So
benefit."
she kind of sounds like that Liberty Hangout person. I need to go see who this girl is because she sounds really smart.
And I
Let's
know
go see what she has
that
to say. Let's get a picture of
what
her.
our neighbors and some of our legislators
While I
might
still got
say.
battery.
These selfless values hold true for each.
I'm waiting
and
across the
every
street. I don't want to get hit by a truck.
Today, I ask
Friendly
that we
fire,
remain
huh?
kind
Check out this
and
old,
steadfast in our efforts
Kenworth,
to
maybe?
tell our short story and share our contributions to the natural world with our communities and legislators. Please continue to organize, make history, and work together so that farming, ranching, and forestry has a bright future in Oregon. Thank you.
Wave to all 50 states and foreign countries.
Thank you again to everybody.
You're talking to 50 states, all of them right there.
Appreciate it. This effort could not have been done without you guys.
All 50 states
Let's
are watching.
take this
Right
momentum.
here on the
We
screen.
need to change everything at the next election and get rid of this unbalanced supermajority. This is only the beginning of rural Oregon standing up. Thank you, everybody. Please, we are encouraged to go in the building, visit your legislators and staff, be respectful and be impactful. Leave this place cleaner than when you got here.
That's the difference
Drivers
between
of the
us
convoy vehicles
and
can
them.
please go take buses back to the fairgrounds, hang out. There's free sack lunches and pop and water under the green flags. There is food donations under the Oregon tent up there, and back here on the stairs is where you can sign all the petitions. I have a message from Dallas. Sorry, if you guys could hold tight for a second.
Well, I kind of missed
Senator
getting a
Hurd
picture
has
of
something
her.
that we need
Oh,
to. Yeah.
this may just be a further instruction.
I just got word from a person I know that the White House is watching what we're doing in Oregon.
Hey, he's watching my feed. I tell you, the world is watching. The world is watching.
You want me to wait or what's going on? He's gonna read it right. Let's just sit down. Oh, perfect.
So Donald Trump might be watching my feed. Don't.
Hello. I wasn't planning on this, and I'm not a great reader, but my son is Dallas Hurd, the senator, and he sent something for us, some words. Words truly cannot describe how I'm feeling about all of you that have decided to make a very real sacrifice and come to Salem today. This is the beginning of something very special, and I want you all to know that my only regret from the last 7 days is that I can't be there with you to look out over the sea of freedom fighters that you all are. There are hundreds of you here today, and I have never met most of you, but I know all of you because
Donuts at the Oregon Trucking
and I know all of you
Association.
because I am you. I was born and raised.
Everyone
in
knows I
Southern
don't eat
California,
donuts, but I'm so
from
tempted.
the absolute
Look, just, we're gonna look
mecca
at them. We're just gonna look at
production
them.
and wealth to just barely hanging on at times. You are the people I have grown
Man, I
up
love y'all like a fat
idolizing.
kid loves donuts.
You are the people who rise as early as 3 a.m. to go to work to provide future for your family and communities. You are the mothers, the fathers, brothers, sisters, children of some of the most amazing people on earth that has to offer, and you all have been awakened.
Yeah, Oregon's not asleep anymore, and neither is the rest of the country.
What you are capable of, and what must be done if you are going to return to the days of true prosperity for all of Oregon. The supermajority and its governor must be shown that their time of domination and infringement upon our rights and values is coming to an abrupt end.
An abrupt end. Abrupt. Like right now.
This is not a Republican or a Democratic problem. It's a human problem. We as humans are inherently flawed when it comes to having too much power for too long. We need to fight for sweeping correction in the balance of influence in our state government. There can be no true peace when an overbearing majority is allowed to inflict its will with such unchecked rage over a minority of people it is sought to oppress.
And that's what's happening nationwide, not just here. This is a microcosm of what's happening around the country.
Every single election from today until our final breath. I want you to look around for a moment and drink in what is before you. Every great building, every great interstate, every person standing next to you was born and built by the greatest generation. We owe them a debt for our freedoms and our prosperity. We owe them our very best. We owe them the reassurance, whether they are looking down from heaven or standing side by side with you today, that we will stand and defend our freedom no matter what is demanded of us to accomplish what is the most noble.
So,
object.
David, I'm going to report you
I would ask you
for
to take a
harassing and
moment,
bullying.
this feeling
for
And never
bullying
let
me
it
and
leave you,
bullying my
because
live stream.
if you can't
I'm gonna
do
go
that,
through every
we
one of
will
your
win.
hateful
If you
statements,
can do that, we
and I'm
will
gonna
win.
send it to Google until they absolutely,
My father
positively have to do something
turned
about
to the
you.
great
And I've been doing this to trolls lately,
Fontaine.
so just spread the word to the
This
troll
is someone
farms that if
that
you troll my
inspires me
channel,
every day.
I'm gonna turn you into Google,
In time,
and
I
I'm gonna
run
get
up
you
against
taken
a
off the
giant
YouTube platform,
like the Democratic
and I'm gonna get
supermajority.
them to take away your
Steve
right
said
to
if this
comment,
race comes
and
down to guts,
you know, keep
I will
messing with
win,
me, troll,
always.
because I'm just gonna tell on you.
That is true. Steve told me that personally.
So I just wish you
you
guys
and
would
I
ignore
are
the
the
troll in the room and just let him spin off by himself. Because the more nasty he gets, the more he's digging his own hole. And David Smock as an entity will not be on YouTube much longer if he keeps it up.
We didn't give up, and we protected freedom for the next generation of Oregon. Oregon is our brother. Fight for. May God bless you all. Senator Dallas Harris.
Thank you so much. There are still trucks rolling in. If everyone wants to go get their equipment and just keep roaring around the Capitol, we really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it today.
Oh my gosh. So you guys are just all over this guy. So I'm surprised it took him this long to find my live chat. So this thing's kind of winding up here at the Capitol, and I imagine it's going to continue being a thing, but it's probably peaking right about now. Got to be the biggest protest I've ever been a part of. This is way bigger than the Portland protest, where I was interviewed by Orrin Schroyer, and I really think somebody from some of these organizations like Rebel Media and stuff should have been here. You know, I don't know where is Tim Pool. He's working on his new van, I think. He's about to be in van life. I don't know, last I heard. But, yeah, I don't know. I didn't seem to see a lot of, YouTubers out here that I could recognize anyway. And K2 and then, Coin6 and all the locals are here. But that was interesting to hear that, people were hollering my name. Yeah, report that guy. Report him for being a jerk. I spent half the morning doing that to somebody who got on one of my deals, and he threatened me like 75 times. No kidding. Like, I woke up this morning, it's not this guy, but it was some other troll, and he had like violently threatened to kill me 59 different ways. And it was just like he was acting like I was talking back to him. He's woo-hoo-hoo. So I thought about turning him over to the local. Yeah, David, I'm gonna send the FBI over there if you threaten me, just so you know that. Like, we're done laying down for this. You're clearly mentally ill, and you're not welcome here, and you should leave. If you were a real man, you had any balls, you just leave and understand that we don't want to hear anything you have to say, and we all know you're an idiot. So get off my channel. Well, cussing me is considered hate speech nowadays, and when the FCC gets a hold of YouTube, and they will, you won't be able to do that either. What's donuts without coffee? I think part of my problem is I didn't have enough coffee. Like, I was on second cup of coffee when I saw on the news this was happening, and I did not get the memo, so I just hauled butt down here. Loving the trucks. That boat right there, I'm gonna show you this boat. This boat right there, that's a clacker craft. That is the ideal Oregon boat for these rivers. So, well, let's talk about what's going on in Oregon. Anybody who thought this was over is wrong. And one of the first things I want to point out is that as of yesterday, the lefties came out and said that they were not, let me turn this way so you can see all the wonderful people's faces as they exit the area. But, yeah, the lefties came out and said that they're playing possum. They're like, oh, we don't have the Democratic votes for this either, so we're going to take it off the table. You can come back now, Republicans. You can come back. It's okay. We won't trap you in the building and call a quorum and vote on this. You can trust us. The check's in the mail. Sure. You don't need the title. You can just take the keys. So, I think this shows that this isn't over. And the Republican senators are not coming back. They're not going to fall for the Dems playing possum. They said come back. They're not coming back. They're staying gone. This proves it. This is a solidarity movement of most of the conservatives in Oregon. And I do find interesting that although there are some militia insignias on hoodies and jackets floating around, there really isn't a militia presence here, because they understand that scared them. That scared the congressmen and senators. Well, they shut the Capitol down because this was going on. If I fought you man to man, there wouldn't be enough left for you to pour into a cup. Haven't you seen my sword videos? Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to fight you. I'm just going to get you off my channel and off of YouTube. I'm going to hope to get you off of YouTube. I think, you know, the fact that trolls are allowed to exist and say vile things, but, you know, people like Ben Shapiro are called Nazis is it's mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense anymore. They all have mental illness. Yet, no, you don't have the right to be on YouTube if you're going to go around being evil and ugly and hateful to people. And the thing is, you're doing it for money. No, you're not, David. You're a troll, and you're paid for. The only money you get is from, what do you have, 15 subscribers over there, David? I've been to your channel. Yeah, he's accusing us of what he's doing. Protesting. We're protesting in favor of the senators in Oregon that have fled the scene to force this wrong think bill that they were trying to ram down our throats to the ballot. They're going to drive this to the American people. And this is all of the trucks. And a lot of these are the folks that parked outside and came in on school buses. Check it out. These are all trucks and tractors, people that would be very much 300 pounds. You guys, I don't need to pick on this guy. You guys got this guy. You're tearing this troll to pieces. You guys just go ahead and do that. I don't even need to fight him. I'm gonna let you guys handle my light work. We got 172 people in the room. I think that might be a Sage Wonder all-time live stream record. But this is history going down before our very eyes. This is, in fact, the beginning round of the cold Civil War. You know, I actually saw a guy's video today. I was going to make a video about his video and kind of take some of his points to the next level when I got wind that this was going down and I had to throw my coffee cup down and run. And but one of the things that he did was he called this isn't a hot, the Civil War hasn't gone hot yet, but it's no longer a cold Civil War. So it's more like we're like, what do you call it, like a hot, we're a hot cold Civil War, or a cold hot Civil War. We're like a Civil War, but just like a hot Civil War that hasn't happened yet. It's right there. And but I think that if the lefties think that they can just, you know, utilize police authority to bully us, if they think they can utilize Antifa and other political groups that are violent to fight us, you know, you got your hands full. Pack a lunch, y'all. There's a lot of folks here not taking your crap anymore.
No, we're not.
That's right. You tell them.
We're not going to take it.
Talk to all 50 states and foreign countries.
Going.
Say again?
We have to keep our truckers going.
That's right. We can't let them take us down.
No.
So yeah, this is basically a pro-truck protest, but it is all about the environmental tyranny, this you know, leftist tyranny that's taken hold of Oregon, and they're trying. All right, so I know I lost a bunch of you, but I am back. This is a hot battery swap. We've resumed this live stream. As you can hear in the distance, the trucks of the loggers and the truck drivers and the dump truck drivers in Oregon, their horns are being heard loud and clear today as the Oregon Capitol building was stormed by a plethora of trucks, an overwhelming show of solidarity in support of the senators that have fled the state to make sure that this nefarious bill gets brought to the people instead of being decided on by a handful of people that do not represent all of the counties. And they certainly do not represent the people of Oregon and all of the counties of Oregon. All they really represent is the local interest of Portlandians. And so this is a really great opportunity for me to show my viewers that Oregonians are not like Portlandia. That's just a small group. close to half of the people in Oregon are really like-minded kind of conservatives and old school liberals before all this went crazy. So if anybody wants to chime in on this battery, and it may not last. I could lose the stream. I'm getting a low battery warning. This is the last battery I have, and I'm walking back to the car anyway. But anybody got any questions for me? Now be the time to hit me up. So yeah, you guys had your own self busy with the troll that was in the room. But let's see, where am I at? I got a ways to go. I was a couple of blocks off when I parked my car. You can see still here the long line of trucks as they wrap the Capitol building. I believe there was enough to go all the way around the Capitol building. Are the Patriots winning? I would say if sheer numbers and sure sign of strength is winning, then the Republicans are winning, because this actually dwarfed anything the Democrats could put together. Their little protest from the other day was lame and inferior compared to this. This, I think, was the biggest protest I've ever been a part of, and I've been down there mixing it up in Portland a few times. So this was quite big. So there's lots of trucks that aren't in the whole city is covered in trucks. The trucks aren't just in line, they're also snaking around through the downtown area, and quite amazing. Hey, we've got something here. Check out this crane that's making a statement. I almost missed this. Look at this. Yeah, solar charge only works when the sun's shining. It's Oregon. Look at that giant crane, and look what's hanging on there at the end. Can you see that? I don't know if I hate having the camera turn this way. So it's a crane with an American flag dangling from it. So that's awesome. They put that up right down here in downtown. So I know they're not saying that that you can't insult Muslims in America, because we still have free speech for a little bit. You know, one thing about the rain in Oregon, it just kind of slowly soaks you. So if you got any kind of rain cover or a little bit of, oops, you don't walk into tree branches, then you actually stay pretty dry. Well, there's not going to be any jackknives, because none of these trucks are pulling trailers, and all of the loggers have their back half piggybacked and up on top there. I think John Titor's timeline is in fact playing out and unfolding right before our very eyes. That this is the epitome of the thing that John Titor said would happen clear back in the 1980s or 90s when he came on the radio and claimed to be a time traveler. Oh, I actually played here. This is some kind of coffee shop for the college or something. I played here. Yeah, I just remembered. I don't remember what it's called, but I've been in there. I made music in this place. They have some big ugly speakers. Ah, the Ike Box coffee shop. Yeah, that's a leftist hotspot. All right. So I'm kind of keeping an eye peeled, making sure nobody's following me. I mean, everybody's friendly down here, but I'm sure they had their spies. And I still think Antifa doesn't like me, because I go around telling people what they are and what they're thinking, what they're doing. So I'm trying to think where I parked my car. So that's Church and Cottage. Maybe I've lost my car. So I didn't park in front of the Ike box, did I? There's a Toyota over there. I'm on one of these blocks here. Well, I don't know if these are the last days or not. I go back and forth, and mostly I'm convinced it is. So that's a Toyota, but I don't think it's my Toyota, because I would have noticed parking in front of it. Maybe that's mine down there. There's so many Toyotas around here, you can't find your Toyota. That's a pretty red truck. Check out this truck. That's a big old Peterbilt. Yeah, I think I found my car. I didn't even notice where I was. I just got as close as I could to downtown and took the first available parking place. And I paid up till 11:30, so I got to get back over there before I get a ticket. But yeah, as long as I got battery, keep talking to me. It's funny that whenever I say talk to me, the chat disappears. Dude, what's my car, right? So you're gonna dox this guy, huh? Well, they definitely dox us, but I'm not saying do that, because I think there may be some legislation making doxing illegal, and I don't want to be doxed. But I would fight David Smock if he'd sign a release, and we did it in Washington where there was a mutual combat agreement. That would actually be kind of fun. All right. Back in the Batmobile, y'all. So that was quite crazy. Let me plug you into the car so we don't lose anybody here, and we'll just have us a little live chat in the vehicle. As I can find my battery. Treason is a death penalty. Pray true justice is carried out. Well, you know, I think a lot of stuff that's going on right now could be considered treason. I don't know how legal it is for you to use the full power of a corporation like YouTube to just side with someone and basically silence all of the opposition. And I mean, I don't know. I do not know. You know, John Titor was put off by 20 years. It could be. I honestly thought this stuff was going to go down in the 90s, you know, and then the Oklahoma City bombing happened. And when that happened, it freaked a lot of people out. Like, I quit the movement when that happened. I didn't want to be part of or lumped in with anybody who would hurt that many kids. Or hurt a kid at all, hurt any kid, you know. So that was pretty abhorrent, and so it pulled a lot of people out of the movement. You know, maybe the Oklahoma City bombing put it off for the next 20 or 30 years. So I don't pretend, Jamie, to understand the first thing about time travel, even though I'm like a time travel nerd. But I would say that if he changed something, then we're on a new timeline and he can't come back to this one because we changed the one he's on. And in this one, he might, in this timeline, put off by 20 or 30 years, he might still be, you know, living his normal life and with us in this timeline and be completely unaware that he is the nefarious John Titor. Because as told by the doc in Back to the Future, when you change the timeline, you split onto an alternate timeline, and you can't go back to the first timeline unless you go back to the original timeline and stop the person from changing the timeline. Time travel, it's so frustrating. Yeah, I should do another video on John Titor because his timeline is taking place. It's just a little bit off. It's a little skewed on the numbers. Well, you know, it's kind of like my predictions. I predicted a lot of stuff to happen that didn't happen when I predicted it, but it's kind of happening now, a year or two later. See you later, Brennan. Take it easy. You have a video about me? Well, I'm sure 300 people will love to look at it. It sucks when people are jealous. Being as talented as I've been my whole life, I recognize jealousy, professional jealousy, when I see it. Man, I need a new phone. I'm gonna take some of the money y'all have sent me and get a phone. I gotta get a phone. Well, better late than never. Welcome. So he just said he hates me. I guess that's hate speech. That'll be the one I send to him. Thanks, Corey. Blessings come my way all the time. It's kind of redonkulous how blessed I always am. But it had the word hate in it, David. I'm just using your own logic against you. Try to keep up, small like you. Try to keep up. Yeah, I went out and stood in the rain for y'all. Hey, I'm a native Oregonian, so I kind of I have a set of gills behind my ears that you can't see. Well, you can love somebody and still not be their favorite. I did a video about this. I'm trying to be Jesus' favorite. Yes, I do have web feet. No, David does not love the Constitution. He's a communist, and he wants to overthrow the government. I've done nothing worthy. Yeah, well, my video library would call you a liar to your face, along with 30,000 other people who like me enough to hit the like and subscribe button. 31,000. Now that I stopped being shadow banned. I'm probably being shadow banned again, though. You're having a scotch. You're having a scotch. Are you having a glass of scotch whiskey, or are you actually having a scotch? Jeff likes fighting with David. Awesome, Unsane Mind. Thank you for taking a lunch break and spending it with us here in this awesome live stream. In Titor's timeline, the right is victorious. Kind of. In John Titor's timeline, really everybody loses. Because in his timeline, there is a fight between the city folk and the country folk, the city mice and the country mice. And during this fight, Russia sides with the country mice and decides that, you know, the cities is where all their problems are coming from. And so in John Titor's timeline, they destroy the cities with tactical nuclear weapons. And it basically drives us back to the Stone Age to a lot of degree, at least to the horse and buggy days, back to the horse and buggy days, pre-industrial revolution time. And so in that timeline, as told by John Titor, we are kind of victorious, but the America as we know it ceases to exist. Well, I wouldn't know about this since I'm a musician, but, you know, a lot of times, David, a lot of your anger will go away when you actually get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. No judgment here, but, you know, it's poison, and it's backing up, and it's poison in your brain. And so, you know, once you actually lose your virginity, then a lot of that anger will go away. It'll just kind of, and suddenly you'll be all at peace and warm and fuzzy inside, you know. So, yeah, don't worry, David. Once you finally lose your virginity, a lot of that anger will go away, and you'll go back to being like maybe a normal human being, and maybe people will want to talk to you again. Liberalism is a mental disorder, or it's demon possession. It could be too. Now, I've talked about that. That was the video that got on CNN. That's something I did. Smock, you been on CNN? Thank you for saying I'm an interesting man. I set out to be that. Yes, demon possession and mental illness are the same thing. Just like aliens and demons are the same thing. Yes, definitely TDS. David, you know, just a wise word from the sage. No one has to prove anything except you have to prove things to yourself. So I'm not obligated to prove anything to you, nor do I want to prove something to you. All I have to do is investigate something until I've proven it to myself, and then I can just state it with confidence because I've already done the hard work. No, I don't have to back up diddly squat. Go do your own research, troll. What are future coffee talk subjects? That's one of the biggest difficulties about coming up with a coffee talk is the subject. So I have been doing research, and you guys, if you want to do some research too, on the research I've been doing has been on the shackle trains, the trains that are supposed to have shackles in them and guillotines attached to the front and be parked on dead-end railroad tracks back in the wilderness. So I'm kind of doing some research on that to find out whether that's an urban myth or whether that's actually something that is going on there. So that's a future coffee talk. I'm going to talk about guillotines and shackle trains. No, David, I just don't think you're worth calling. I don't hardly call my mother as much as I ought to. I don't have time to talk to my kids. You know, I don't have time to do anything. I'm too busy researching what's going on and trying to stop the world from falling into a civil war, or the country at least from falling into a civil war. I have goals at least. Swift Auto Railers. What's a Swift Auto Railer? Yeah, where do you work, David? Please tell me, please tell me, please tell me. Coffee talk! Okay, so I did an iPet Goat 2 video. I actually did a video, and it's one of those where I didn't know what was happening with the iPet Goat 2 thing, and then I researched it, and I did the video, and I let it go. So I can't talk authoritatively on it, apart from my notes in the video I did. I did a video. Well, I'm sorry, David. I hate to hear that. No one should be physically disabled. I'm sorry that happened to you. So I won't attack you about your job if you don't attack me about mine. You're wrong if you think I don't work, because right now my right arm is fully asleep and my fingers are tingling because I've been on here talking to you folks for more than an hour and a half, and I've dropped everything that I've done and to come out here and cover this for you folks. So you have someone to pick on, David, and I get paid to do it, so that's a job. I also, what is today? Thursday. I got a gig in a couple days, so I stand on one leg. I play the bass with my left hand. I play piano with my right hand. I sing and play harmonica, and I dance up and down on one leg. And if you looked at my other live streams, you'd see that. And that's a job that I get paid for. And when I go back to Texas, I'm probably gonna have to get a job as a salesman as well. Yeah, I did a video on iPet Goat 2. I think it might be a coffee talk. I'm not sure. If I find it, I'll like it when I get back to the house. So give me the rest of the day, and I'll try to pull that up there. Wait, what did he say? Something you've said. I didn't realize you would be understanding of my physical disability. Dude, I hobble around on broken knees, man. If I ever was unsympathetic to people's physical plight, it went bye-bye, and I learned some compassion when my knees started going out, and my shoulder and my arm, from dancing on one leg for decades, man. I've been standing up, playing piano, and playing bass with my left hand, piano with my right hand, singing, and sometimes working a drum machine, and like standing on one leg for 4 hours, jumping up and down will tear your body all to pieces. So I earned my disability, but I'm a little disabled myself. What is the protest about? This was a protest by Oregon truck drivers and loggers. Thousands of them came with hundreds and hundreds of trucks, and they surrounded the state capitol. And it was to support the Oregon senators who have fled the state while the police are hunting them down because they won't sign off on a bill that raises gas by 20 cents a gallon. How's that? So this is the Americans, the working man, standing up against this liberal left-wing communist Senate in the Oregon State House. So we are here covering that, and I'm kind of wet like a wet rat, and I'm sitting in the car here getting wetter because I got the window down for ventilation. And see, this is how I feel like we should handle trolls. It's really hard when someone's being mean to you to love them back, but I think I softened up this guy's opinion of all of us just by being empathetic. I mean, I wouldn't want to be freaking disabled. Can't leave the house. I'm not going to give you a big hard time anymore, man. Why is it wrong to be liberal? It's wrong to be liberal if you want to force your opinions down other people's throat through intimidation, through brigading people on YouTube, through political attacks, through intimidation, all of those things. If you want to do that to promote any ideology, that's the problem I really have with it. I think at the heart of liberalism, there's some ideas that are absolutely, they're godly. People should want to take care of disabled people. People should want to take care of the elderly, and I think that society, we've always done that. We've always took care of ours, so there's things on the left that are noble at their root, but it's when you become bold, when you become combative, when you start disrupting society, when you start burning your neighborhoods and busting out windows and tearing things up and causing, impact on other people, and use threats and intimidation. All of these things are stuff I can't hang with. That's why I'm part of the hashtag walk away movement. You know, you probably haven't paid enough attention, David, to understand that I'm a centrist, and I was a little left-leaning on everything but guns when the left jumped up and joined communism and left me fiddling in the wind. So, the separation video, I think that really went hand in hand with the Jeffersonian cause, the Jefferson state cause. So we're having like a come to Jesus moment. We're having like a reconciliation here. If people would just lower the rhetoric and see another human being on the other side, I think this would be a lot better. But when you're hurling insults and you're angry and your steam coming out your ears and you're ready to throw down over it, it's really, really hard to be decent to somebody. See, I think David may be really angry at me because he doesn't really know who I am. Like, I'm a moderate. I've gone back and forth between being a moderate Republican and a moderate Democrat. And the only reason I ever signed over onto the Democratic side and voted that direction was because after a certain Supreme Court ruling on guns, I figured it was just impossible for them to disarm us legally, that the Supreme Court has spoken on guns in such a way that nobody can actually ever take them away. And so I thought, okay, well then I can stop being a one issue voter and I can vote my conscience. And I will admit to being taken in by some of the things that candidate Barack Obama said, but once he got in office, he proved to be a real liar. And so I honestly walked away from him right then, like within months. The main thing is, instead of getting us out of that war in the Middle East, he just made it bigger and wider and deeper. And once again, I really support Trump because he wants to get us out of the war. I come from a family of warriors. And as much as they train to go to war, as much as they want combat to validify their training and to reach their ultimate goal of being a vetted warrior, they hate war. They understand the ugliness of it. I don't think there's any military man that ever wants to see war take place on the ground in America. I mean, they want to go over there and make war. You don't want war to happen here. Nobody wants war to happen in their country. See, you say that Trump is a horrible person, but I think you're basing that on one audio tape. I think it's because of the grab him by the you-know-what that you hate him. I don't know that he's a sex offender or that he's incestuous. These are all baseless accusations with absolutely no proof. Post a link. If you want to be a contributor on YouTube, then stop being a troll and post a link on something. You're basing on everything he says. Okay, so psychologists say that and people that study communication say that when you make a blanket statement like everything he says is racist, everything he says is misogynist, okay, so that statement is not true. It's not true on its face. No one is always racist, always sexist in everything that they say. So when you make those blanket statements, it's because you have no ammo. That they teach you this, if you learn anything about communication, is that you'd have no ammo. Okay, but I'm not accusing someone of being something they're not. When you accuse someone, you have to back it up or shut up. That's it. Put up or shut up when you take it after somebody. So I don't have to prove to you my opinions of political things, but at the same time, if you're going to attack somebody and call them something they're not, then you absolutely have to prove it. Or you just look like, well, you know what you look like. I fell asleep watching the clown parade last night. I didn't get to hear what a lot of these people were saying. I fell asleep with it running. It sounds to me like the Democratic group is pretty much just vying for who can be the most radical. They think being radical is actually going to make them win. And I think it's the opposite. I think the Barbara Streisand effect is going to come back to haunt them. I'm predicting a Donald Trump win by landslide. Wait, I want to hear what you said about Jesus. Who's this? Oh, where'd it go? Come back. I need to read this. When Jesus said love, he didn't mean give them your house, your car, your job, and let them take over your life. Non-Christians continuously misuse the words of Jesus Christ to control Christians. I don't know. If you want to talk about what Jesus said, a lot of times Christians take what the church says and they apply it to Jesus, but Jesus actually said, sell everything you own, pick up my cross and follow me. So Jesus taught non-materialism, and he eschewed personal possessions. Honestly, I'm just telling you what the book says. So, David, we do know that Jesus existed because Jesus and the story of his crucifixion is documented in Roman laws. It's documented by a Roman historian of the time known as Josephus. And if you knew a first thing about Jesus, you would know that his life as a human being has absolutely been proven beyond a reasonable doubt to anybody who wants to see it. You're wrong about that, David. Look up the book called Josephus. Look up the Roman history according to Josephus. He lived during the same time as Jesus, and he talks about him. How do I know there's not more than one Jesus? Well, I do know this guy that works down at the corner, and he polishes cars at the car wash, and his name is Jesus. I think it's pronounced Jesus. What do you mean more than one Jesus? That's not been debunked, David. You're a liar. Look at Josephus. Josephus is telling the truth. Josephus was from the same era, and he talks about how Pontius Pilate had a radical named Jesus executed. Trump is for 5G because he's been told it's good for the country, and I don't know that he fully understands. I don't know that I need to do 5G as a coffee talk if I haven't already done it, because I'm not convinced that 5G is just going to kill everybody. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I haven't seen all of the information yet. I know you say it's a literal kill grid, but where is the scientific documentation? I do know that all electromagnetic, including the thing I'm holding close to my face right now, causes electromagnetic radiation and causes cancer in lab animals. But those are everywhere. And is 5G worse than 4G? And if so, how much? Honestly, I think these high tension, high voltage power lines probably are more dangerous and create cancer clusters more than 5G. But I'm all on board. I'm all on board throwing 5G under the bus. I just can't find the documentation. See, I'm a skeptic, and really, if David and other trolls really knew who I was, they wouldn't give me a hard time, because I'm a skeptic. I don't really swallow this stuff. That's what coffee talk is. Yeah, I'm worried about red flag laws. You betcha. That's why I'm hightailing it out of here. When my daughter turned on me, I had a vision of her going full-on blue-haired, because she's a blue-haired vegan, going on full lefty on me and doing something like calling the cops on me and trying to get my guns taken away. So, I mean, when I left initially, it's because I got crossways with my daughter, and I thought she might have the power to red flag me, so I got the heck out of Dodge and took my guns with me. Are we having a mental breakdown here right now? Not really. I think we're having an awesome conversation. I should do this more often. I love sitting here talking to you guys. I'm just waiting for my gig to come up. I'm also still packing, getting ready to make that trip back to Texas. It's the frequency. Well, I will tell you this. Here's the biggest argument I personally have that 5G might be an issue, and that's only if it's already been rolled out. Because I'm telling you, if you watch this channel, you know that when I'm here, all my joints ache. When I'm here in the valley, I have stomach problems. I have all of these physical symptoms, right? And I was telling David, I get partially disabled. I have to walk with a cane. I'll still whoop you with the cane, though. But when I go back to Texas, when I get over that mountain, when I get away from this valley, suddenly I'm all better. My joints stop hurting. My stomach stops hurting. I feel 10 years younger. Go look at the video. You can see my transformation back in Texas when I first get there, how I change into a different man. And you can start to see me changing back. Look at me changing back. I'm putting on weight. I'm bloated. I feel like I can't breathe. My knees hurt. My hips hurt. I'm up half the night with it. And all the cannabis cream in the world ain't fixing it. And I'm just ready to go back to Texas. So there's something here. Is it in the water? Is it chemtrails? Is it 5G? Is it electromagnetic? It feels a lot like the Tesla death ray they used on me in Colorado. The Tesla death ray, the most frightening night of my life. It feels like that, but instead of being on 4 or 5, it's on 1. The hat's making me sick. I don't know. Assume the Republicans won. Is he talking about the See, that's the kind of mean stuff that you say. What if I said, David, you're not really handicapped. It's all in your head. You don't really get up with pain in the morning. You don't really have to take pain medication. You don't really, you're not really, you're just lazy. You don't see that if I turned around and said that about you, David, that would just be really rude and hateful. Look at yourself, man. Serious. You have documentation. Well, that's because you want to go to the doctors and make it worse. I don't trust the doctors either. The quickest way to make a bad situation worse is to call the police. The quickest way to make your physical health worse than it was before is to go see a doctor. The medication's worse than the disease. Look at the side effects of all these medications. They're killing you. Hey, we might red pill David yet. And I don't know if people were just saying you're gay or whether you came out and said you're gay. I don't care if you're gay. We have Milo. We don't have a problem with gay people as long as, you're not also a pedophile. You're not trying to indoctrinate our children. That's the only thing we're arguing against. Date as many guys as you want. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you do in your bedroom. That's why people voted for Bill Clinton and the second time. Nobody cares what he did with Monica. Nobody cares what Donald Trump did with what's her name, the stripper. Nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. Really, just be a good citizen. That's what people care about. Be a decent human being. That's what people care about. Well, because he's a little bipolar. That's the thing about. I've experienced that with this Trump derangement syndrome. When you try to kill him with kindness, when you love them, they kind of come around for a minute, but then they just turn back into a snarling beast. So I think this has kind of calmed down a little bit, and but I am curious. Well, no, there's a tractor. I mean, they're just basically they might have broke up the convoy. They may still be surrounding the state house. I don't know. I just got wet and out of batteries and had to come back here. Sounds like fibromyalgia. Actually, I have a diagnosis of fibromyalgia. If you've ever heard me tell my story of the time I battled a witch, I had a very severe and unheard of case for a person so young of shingles on my back that left my back potted with scars, and so I do have nerve damage, but typically it's only been itching and only in that site area, phantom itching. I haven't had any phantom pain, but. I don't know if it's fibromyalgia. How come it doesn't happen to me in Texas? In Texas, I feel like I'd whip a whole room full of people. Mold. Now you might be making some sense. There could be mold in my old camper van, and that's what's making me sick. Very well could be, because I wasn't real sick until I moved into the camper van. I always thought maybe the camper van was making me sick. I don't know. I just know I'm going back to Texas. See you later. I'd pronounce your name, but I don't know what the symbols sound like. I don't know what that is, but thank you for your kind words. Salmamos? I don't know. You hear them still beeping their horns. They're still blowing their diesel horns. I'm telling you, if this doesn't make national news, if this isn't talked about all over the country, this protest today, I don't know what you got to do to get attention, because this thing was enormous. When I saw that they were the stage up that was happening at the state fairgrounds, I was like, my gosh, that's huge. Yes, and when I go to Oregon, I always lose weight. Yeah, I'm definitely going back to Texas in like a week. I'll be gone in a week. So Becky has an interesting piece of information. She says that one of the Oregon senators that was interviewed in Idaho says that he has a passport, and if he needs it. So they're willing to leave the country to avoid being dragged back here and forced to make a quorum. You're welcome, William. I'm glad I could cover this, and I'm sure I could walk around in the rain more if I had more batteries. I think the key for me to improve my live streaming is to get some powerful batteries and come out here with a deep battery that can last a long time. It could turn into a civil war. It absolutely could. This is what I've been predicting. I've got my thumb on the pulse of Oregon, and I've always said it'll happen here. It could be the barometric pressure. People have said it may be the coastal pressure that comes in, from that cold northern Pacific Ocean, and that might be doing it to me. The only way I dealt with the traffic, it was only traffic if you ain't from around here, but I grew up riding my bike on these streets, so I actually got here really fast. Like, the traffic held me up for a minute, and then I haven't reported you yet, David, but I still could. I kind of promised you I would. But yeah, I took a back road. I took a couple of back roads. I came back and I cut through Bush Park, and I went the way I used to ride my skateboard and bicycle when I was a kid, and I was down here Toot Sweet, parked and on it. But that's because I'm a local. My Nazi supporter to do it. Well, if you offended him and he blocked you, then good. You had it coming. David, you've been so awful to me. If there's any justice in this world, you'll get blocked. I mean, honestly, the things you said have just been. There's only one guy, Crawford. There's only one guy that's worse than you. See, David, I showed you empathy, I showed you sympathy, I showed you love, and now you're hoping I burn in hell. Well, hell is made for Satan and his demons and anyone who follow them. So keep acting like hell, and you'll find yourself in hell. My old mentor used to say, whatever kingdom you live in is the kingdom you will end up in. So if you live in the kingdom of light and love, when you die, you will go on to the kingdom of light and love. And if you lived in the kingdom of hell and drama and weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth and anger and hatred, then you will go to hell, straight to hell, and that's how it works. Take it from an expert. You're gonna whoop my old ass? You talking to me? Well, don't take a knife to a gunfight, pal. It's good advice, sage advice. Oh, Macho Man. If you were actually macho, you wouldn't have to name yourself Macho Man. So keep threatening me, Macho Man, and I'll turn you over to YouTube, because that is hate speech and harassment. I just have to pick which one I want to charge you with. Are you going to slap the hell out of garbage art? Keep making threats, guys. That's not allowed on YouTube. So when these guys threaten me or you, just report them. Y'all just keep reporting them. Sage doesn't have mods because I'm new at live streaming and I don't know how to set one up, or what that entails, or how much power I'm giving away to a person to do that. I don't trust anybody anyway. It is fun using the left's rules against them. That's how we win, because that's what they do to us. It's one of the, okay, I'll ban you. Well, I won't ban you. I'm going to report you. So they can take you completely off of YouTube and force you to make a whole new YouTube channel and a whole new email address and all of that. That's what happens when you threaten people. They've been doing it to us. So, sooner or later they're going to have to do it to some of y'all, just so they don't look so stupid, just so they don't look so one-sided. So just keep threatening me. God is fixing the world in the moment. I kind of like that saying right there. You have 31 accounts? Well, you'll have to make another one. I hope you have fun making counts. So Macho Man must be some kind of wannabe wrestler. That's the only person that talks like that. Love you too, Jesus first always. You are one of my favorites. Yeah, go make your videos on here. Just stay off my channel. Thanks, American Life. I'll look into that. I'll appreciate that. I need to find out even how to do it. I don't, I got a busted phone, as you can all tell. You out of here, Clint? All right. So I think maybe we've had a long chat. This has been a really long, wannabe wrestler, right? This has been a really long deal for me, and I'm thinking I need some lunch. I kind of ran out of here without getting enough coffee and all that. What's happening in Oregon? Huge pro-Republican, anti-Democrat truck driver convoy has rolled into downtown Salem, and now they're dominating the entire downtown area, along with a huge pro-Republican senator, what do you call it, a rally down here. So I've got soaking wet covering it. Where's the protest? Well, it's about over, and I ran out of battery. I had to come back to the car where I'm parked to finish talking. But this got a lot of coverage. I hear it was being covered also on Facebook. They were covering my coverage on Facebook. And so I'm going to go get dried off and get some lunch. And I want you to know I appreciate every one of you. I never dreamed this channel would ever be this big. And I love you all, even love my enemies. And so I hope, David, that your physical, what's the word I'm looking for? Disability isn't a painful one. And I hope that you wake up healthy and well every day. Because ultimately, we are all Americans. And it is our job to love each other, especially if you're a Christian. It's a mandate. You kind of have to, even when it's hard. All right, see you later, Sands. See you later, Candace. Later on, Road Viking. Take it easy, Magnet. Talk about keyboard warriors that never leave the mom's basement. I don't know if that's a coffee talk. That's just a reality. See you later, Michael. Take it easy, Jeff. Later, Red Pill. The high desert in Oregon is beautiful. That's what we're talking about. See you later. Bye, everybody. Someone says, they hope I drop dead. Well, eventually I will. It's the fate of every human unless I'm raptured. All right, we'll see you guys later. And God save our republic. Now I got to figure out how to end one of these.